Hey everyone, it's Olivia Pileggi, holistic nutritionist and energy healer from Desire Radiant Health. Today we're going to talk about your period. Yes, that's why I'm wearing red. So I'm here to talk about aligning our menstrual cycle with the moon cycle. In a perfect world, when we were still wild women, we all got our periods on the new moon, which are the darkest days, and then ovulated on the full moon, the brightest days. Nowadays, that is not the case for most women. I'm not even going to say majority. For a while, myself, I was backwards, so I was getting my period on the full moon and then ovulating on the new moon, and I'd still say that's in alignment. And a lot of people have their period cycle that same way, but it's technically backwards, but I'd still say that's in alignment. My favorite way to regulate your menstrual cycle is by doing something called seed cycling. So you would be doing this taking into account the two phases of our cycles, which is the follicular phase and then the luteal phase. So in the follicular phase, which is days 1 to 14, you would be consuming flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. You could also consume the flaxseed oil and pumpkin seed oil during this time as well. And then in the luteal phase, days 15 to 28, you would be consuming sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. You can also incorporate the oil of sesame oil and also evening primrose oil at this time. The reason this works is because fats help with our hormone transport, and the specific fats that you'd be consuming will help transport those specific hormones that are elevated at both times of our cycle. So it's a really wonderful way to align your cycle. If you're someone that's really regular, you're going to do this with your regular days 1 to 14 and 15 to 28. But for all those women out there watching this video that are not regular, you want to do this starting on the new moon for day 1 and then starting on the full moon for day 15. And then continuing in that cycle, see what happens. It's very interesting how quickly the feminine cycle will align with the moon cycle, because the moon cycle represents the feminine cycle. So it's a really wonderful and easy way to incorporate those foods. So at least a tablespoon of each one of those seeds on a daily basis during those specific times. And that doesn't mean you can't have pumpkin seeds ever in the second phase, though you'd want to limit them. You'd really want to try to not have so many and really save them for days 1 to 14. And that doesn't mean, for example, you can't have a little bit of, for example, hummus that has tahini in it on day 1 to 14, because tahini is from sesame seeds. But you'd want to limit it. You'd want to be very conscious. What am I consuming right now? So try to make them exclusive as possible to those times of your cycle. The next thing I want to talk about is what we actually put inside or below our vagina when we are actually menstruating, because it's extremely important to not be putting chemicals against our vagina. For example, if you were to drink alcohol, it would take about an hour for you to become drunk and intoxicated. If you were to soak a tampon with alcohol and insert it into your vagina, you would be drunk within a minute. So that just shows how quickly we absorb chemicals and any substance when it's against our vagina. There's no skin. It's different tissue. It's completely different. So it really, really absorbs very quickly. So that's how important it is to take into consideration not putting chemicals against your vagina or inside of them. So what I'm going to show you is what I personally use. So on the heavy days, I use the Ultra Extra pads from Natural Care. These are amazing. They're made with organic cotton and they're completely toxin-free. They're really great for the heavy flow. And on those same heavier flow days, you want to use these nighttime pads that are really long for when you're on your back. This is really excellent for those heavy days. If you don't have a very heavy cycle, or for on like more of a medium flow day, you can use these ones. They're the regulars. And then on the really light days, you can use the organic cotton cover minis. I really like the minis. So these are the liners, and if you want to wear thongs, you can use Tanga. They have the little corners that you could wrap around the triangle part of your thong and then be able to wear them still. There are also organic tampons. So I just want to say, if you are a tampon user, please, please don't use chemical-laden tampons. You are leaving something inside of your vagina for 4 to 6 hours at a time and then changing it. And if you were to leave it in longer than that 4 to 6 hour window, you're having the exposure to such harsh chemicals that you're able to experience toxic shock syndrome, which has happened to many women. And it's a scary thing, toxic shock syndrome. So please, if you like to wear tampons, there are organic tampons that you can insert into your vagina as well. There is another option. It is the Diva cup. So this is a silicone cup that you are actually inserting into your vagina. It's collecting the blood, and then you would be dumping it, cleaning and inserting it back in. I find it way too painful, and I wish I could use it because I bought it and they're not cheap. Unfortunately, it's too painful for me to insert, but there are a lot of people that have no pain when they insert it, and that's all they use. They don't use anything else, or maybe just a liner underneath it. But I unfortunately find it too painful. Though if you're not very sensitive, this might work out really well for you. So that's about what you're putting in and below your vagina, and it's extremely important to take a look at what you're using. Now I'm going to talk about cramps and period pain. A lot of people, unfortunately, experience really, really intense, excruciating cramps, and I used to be one of those people, lying on the floor in fetal position or like bent over in a child's pose because that's the only way I felt okay. Like sometimes even being on my back was painful, and I'd have to literally be folded over forward in that child's pose in order to be okay. So I've been there, and I'm so fortunate that it's not what it used to be. And this cycle that I'm currently on, I didn't even have to use anything at all because I didn't experience any severe cramps, which is wonderful that I'm at that point. So that shows that you're actually in a pretty good hormonal balance when you're not experiencing cramps. But if you are, I'm going to give you some holistic nutrition remedies that I have used myself, tried and true, and I highly recommend. So this is called cramp bark. The Aboriginals actually gave this the name of cramp bark due to the fact that it relieved cramps and muscle spasms. And this is in a tincture form from St. Francis. What you are doing with the tincture is, you are putting the herb in a solution of 100 proof alcohol and distilled water, leaving it in that solution for a number of weeks, and then straining it and then consuming the liquid. And a little tip from a holistic nutritionist to you. To make this work faster, boil the water that you mix it in with, and you only want to use about 2 ounces of water, so very, very little. Boil the water, put this on top, and then drink it. It works so much faster. So when you need immediate relief of something, hot water with your tinctures. Trust me, it is amazing. And if, for example, you're at work and there's no kettle in your workplace, just have it with the cold water. Once again, very little. It will just take a little bit longer to start to feel the effects of the cramp relief. But that's a little tip. And then for external usage, this is something I made myself. It is sage and lavender infused in olive oil. So the sage I picked from my backyard. The lavender I actually picked when I was hiking, which is really exciting. And then I left it in extra virgin olive oil for many months, and I would shake the bottle every day. And then after quite a few months, I strained the herbs out and I poured the oil into this. And then when I'm actually on my period, I will take a little bit in my palm and rub it on my abdominal area. The reason why sage is in here is because sage actually helps with drying up excess fluid. So on your really, really heavy days when you're passing so much blood, sage is really helpful to make it a little bit less heavy. You can also use sage for excess perspiration, but that would be internal. So consuming sage, or for example, a tincture of sage would be really helpful. If you have excess perspiration, you could even use it to dry up your milk supply. Anyways, so it's really good for drying up excess fluid. And then the lavender is just calming. So that's going to be really good for those spasming motions when you're experiencing cramps. Another item I love, which was made by my dear friend, who's also a holistic nutritionist, it is the Dragon Rub from Dragon Elixirs. This is actually a CBD infused product. So what this does is relieve the pain from the actual CBD component. And there's also wintergreen essential oil and rosemary essential oil in here. And the cannabis is infused in coconut oil. And this works really well. I love this product. And once again, I put it all over my abdomen and really close to the pubic bone as well. You can even put it on the sides if you've ever experienced the cramps on the side, which I have. You could put this anywhere that you feel the pain. So I'm not just a holistic nutritionist, I'm also an energy healer. So energy-wise, I wanted to give you a couple tips. I would highly recommend to incorporate red stones. You're losing a lot of blood on your period, so incorporating red energy is really helpful. You can wear red. Color therapy is a thing. And the stones I love to use are red tiger's eye. This is a really beautiful stone. Carnelian, another red stone. Here I also have a red lace agate, which is really pretty. And you can wear these. I'm also wearing this red bracelet. You can wear the stones, you can carry them with you. I like to sleep with them actually, so I'll put them on top of my mattress and sleep with them. And another stone that works is citrine. So the womb space is actually correlated with the sacral chakra, which is that orange color, and then the root chakra is the red color. Interesting. And citrine is really wonderful for the sacral chakra. So that's a really nice stone to incorporate. You can wear it, once again, or sleep with it, or carry it with you. And because your cycle is also referred to as your moon time, and as I explained, we are in sync with the feminine cycle of the moon, I love to wear a moonstone. So this is the piece that I would wear on my necklace. This is rainbow moonstone, and this is actually an actual stone that's not in a jewelry piece that I would hold or sleep with or carry with me. It's actually the first stone I ever purchased. It's my first stone. I love rainbow moonstone. And I'll wear the necklace with the earrings I have and be with that energy throughout the day with some red bracelets as well. I really want to just for a moment as well talk about surrendering to the energy of our period. Even if you don't have really extreme cramps, if you are in a really good hormonal balance and you can tolerate the pain or you don't even have pain, you should be laying lower when you're on your heavier days of your period. So it's a really good idea to surrender a bit and not expect yourself to be at your 100% space, because you're not. It's not the day to be that powerful, strong woman we all are told to be. It's a day to relax. It's a day to surrender and lie in bed, be in the washroom all day, take a bath, or just, not even, I don't do yoga on the first 2 days of my cycle. I just don't. And I'm someone who does yoga every day, but I make an exception for the first 2 days, sometimes the first 3 days of my cycle, just because I'm allowing my body to do what it wants to do. It wants to take a break. And as women, we are not consistent in our power and in our strength on a daily basis, whereas men don't really have that fluctuation, and that really does make us different. So I just wanted to say, from an energetic perspective, as an energy healer, surrender to the energy of your period. Don't expect yourself to be at 100% those days, and don't beat yourself up when you're not at 100% those days and you can't perform like you regularly do. It's just a couple days. Surrender, let yourself relax. And on that note, I hope you have a radiant day. I hope you have a really healthy menstrual cycle. I specialize in fertility and hormonal health, along with mental health and eating disorders in my practice. I have links below if you're interested in working with me privately. And you can subscribe to this channel, follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and continue along with learning about holistic nutrition and energy healing. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for watching and taking your health seriously.